Keep a fire burning red in a Georgia representing of a comes hard here, you know. Big up Kidaki, Buxton Massive. Hey Babylon boy, you go on like you know, like come son. Red.
Never joke, never joke, never joke. Oh, money, never money, never money, money, never money, money. I know what you can I be money. Money, never money, money, never money, money. You can keep your conniving money. When you been not for a bum, in a biz there be money. Now because your money down, you come with conniving money. When you had your pocket full, in a biz there be money. Now because your money down, you hustle for tell me money. Yes, money, never money, never money, money, never money, money. Now do what you conniving money. Neighbor, joker, neighbor, joker, neighbor, joker. That's all the money that we walk. A 2 pound note and a kill that piece. A 2 pound note and a kill that piece. A 2 pound note and a kill that piece. This is all the money that we walk. Money, never money, money, never money, money. I know what you can I be money. Oh, Joseph.
Guyana and Guyanese, at home and abroad. Tune in the Guyanese Morning Time, hosted by Kadaki Amsterdam, where the sun always shines. Guyanese Morning Time, the people call it Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese Morning Time. The people call it Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. We rise up early morning watching Comes TV, where wisdom and knowledge, yes, it is the key. Exposing corruptions over land and sea, where the wicked politicians they try to trick me. Guyana is a land for everybody. With 6 races should live in harmony. Is one set of people getting aisle money. Is one set of people doing the thievery. Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. This is a program that you all can see. Sharing your views and your integrity. Like it, comment and share it all around. Pass it to your neighbor, safe and sound. A sad situation going on in this town. The voice of the people is getting trampled down. Out of the mouths of babes and sucklings, which has ordained me to sing. I sing Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, fooling the people. You promoting evil. Stop lying to the people. You are a part of the cycle. Stop fooling people. You're promoting evil. Stop lying to the people. fish. You are a part of the cycle. I say, Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. They got Breakford, Bork and Mark Benchcop. David Hines and Kadaki Amsterdam. Sherrod Duncan, Nigel London. Normal Brown and Gavin Matthews. Big up Paslow, Port People Governor. Simona Brooms, Robin Simpson. Hampton Green and Winston Jordan. And yes, we can go right on and on. Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again.
The relatives and friends of young Wyndham Bacchus, they deserve justice. The family, the relatives and friends of our in Boston, they deserve justice. The family, the relatives and friends of Peter Headley, they deserve justice.
And so when we say that Guyana is an apartheid state, we have the evidence to show.
Hey fans, it's karaoke and oldies night this and every Thursday at Club Twilight Sideline Dam, Buxton. Dance to the magical songs of yesteryear by popular DJs and Camps Audio. Admission is free. Come out, let's make memories at Club Twilight Sideline Dam, Buxton North.
Comes audio son. You burn this wine when no want you shine. The tree of life, them no want you climb, cause them heart no kind. Comes I say them heart no kind. Buxton Massive, Kidaki, Red Hat.
You can get meat anywhere, but for the best cuts of chicken, beef, pork, mutton, and lots more, check out T&W Harris Butcher Shop, located in the East Rheinveld Market Meat Section. Call us on 609-7168, 641-4494. Ask for Rastaman. T&W Harris Butcher Shop for the best in fresh cut meats and lots more. morning. Morning, how you morning? How are you doing? Welcome to another program of Guyanese Morning Time. It's Friday, it's Free Talk Friday. It's 26 minutes to the 8 o'clock hour. And so I don't think I want to spend too much time telling y'all all kinds of stories. But hey, how y'all do? How was y'all last night? Last night and the night before. How was y'all last night? How was your yesterday? Yesterday was Liberation Day, Freedom Day, Emancipation Day, whichever day you want to call it, but it is the day that we remember our ancestors as doing that which needed to be done to free themselves over a long period of time, mind you,
The government
of the shackles of slavery, right? And they eventually did that. And so they did all that they had to do, as a matter of fact. Leading up to 2020, leading up to the date of the declaration that enslaved Africans will be freed in this particular date, and eventually 1834, 1838, over that period. A lot of people usually ask me, why do you always say 1834, 1838? Because the original proclamation, as I remember, or learned, was taught, had 1838 as the year by which the enslaved Africans should have been given their freedom, because they had to do a period of apprenticeship. Imagine people working you like donkey, year in, year out. Yeah? Year in, year out, they got you doing this thing. Let me say beating iron. And then when the time allow you to live your life, live your freedom, they're telling you, you're going to spend 4 more years learning how to beat iron. Because we want to ensure that you go out there as a skilled person, as an educated person, a person who is of benefit to society. So all the year they're using me as a craftsman, enslaved me as a craftsman, and using me, and then they're gonna say, we're gonna set you free, you know. We're gonna give you back your freedom in 4 years' time, after you finish learning how to be a craftsman. Tricky trick. Because while our ancestors were going through the period of apprenticeship, they were to be paid. They were to be paid, but they were to be paid under a certain arrangement, and that is, y'all listen to this, listen to this, listen to this. And I hope I remember my facts right, because I don't want the historians to come to me and say, Mr. Amsterdam, what kind of revisionist history you do it by? You writing your own thing. Yes, they were to be paid, but the arrangement was that they had to work 7 or 8 hours. In some territories, it was 8 hours. In some territories, it was 6 or 7. They had to work those hours free from master. And not until they were finished working those hours, they could have worked extra to be paid. And why did I chuckle just when I told you to listen to this? Because here, look around you. You are still, yes, the numbers were 35 between 40 indeed. We are still doing a 40-hour work week. We are still doing a 40-hour work week. So we work in slavery time. 40 hours work week. It's slavery time we working. In some territories, they work less, 35, 42, I think, no 42, 35. And then they were able to be paid for time beyond that. And just like the PPP, what did the masses do? They work them to the ground between that 8 hours that they were obligated to work according to the arrangement. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Y'all listening? They work the life, sweat, and blood out of them during the 3 hours. And then the few hours which were left is what they got paid for. And complaints were made to the Crown and so on that, listen, this apprenticeship thing, it ain't really working now, you know, because the plantocrats were overdoing it. They're overdoing it. They're really abusing it. Part of the arrangement too is that no one should have been whipped, and they were still whipping our people. And so all of that contributed to the truncation, cutting short of the apprenticeship period. And that is why usually when I talk about the apprenticeship period, I usually say 1834, 1838, because all along that line of time, that timeline there. Hey, Travis, big up yourself, man, and you're up on it. It's good to see you in my life. Good. So that was a little quickie history for you there. But we have so many things to talk about this morning. Yesterday I spoke about the magnificence, if I can say, of seeing 3 leading African Guyanese brothers on one stage, basically delivering one message. 3 leading African Guyanese brothers from 3 different political parties. Maybe, I can't say 3 different political era, but at least 2 different political era, perhaps. Or all of them all like me. Aubrey Norton, David Hines, and Nigel Hughes. 3 different political parties. 3 different types of struggle, I can tell you. Because in the early years of David Hines' struggle, he was imprisoned. As some people would say, he paid due. Ooh, he was in prison. So when he comes to you, from his political history, he's not coming from a position of an Aubrey Norton or Nigel Hughes. Nobody never know what self feel like, right? So those are things to consider. But nevertheless, it was indeed good. And I want, because nobody has seen the entire video, the entire clip. I can't say nobody. If you were there, you did see it in person. But if you weren't, a lot of people are saying they did not get to see it in the media. And it also tells a story. Where is the 5th estate? Where is the 5th estate? You have such big news because it was advertised. Leader of the opposition, Aubrey Norton, and a main contender in the opposition, Nigel Hughes, and Professor David Hines are going to be on the same stage at one place one night, and the media didn't rush down there to cover it. Something is wrong with the 5th estate. The 5th estate is asleep. Why? Because a lot of them, or most of them, or all of them have become hustlers. I don't think they have all become hustlers. Only some of them. Some of them are big, but they ain't smart, right? But y'all don't let it happen. Pay attention to where the news is. So I will share that clip with you this morning, and let me caution you, it's about an hour. So instead of me talking to you for about an hour, listen to David Hines, Professor David Hines, as he talks to BUXTONIANs and those who are out there from around the country in the diaspora and so on. And ultimately, brought on stage Aubrey Norton and Nigel Hughes in a show of the kind of strength we need to remove the PPP from office. Y'all listen up. Pay attention.
And as these 2 brothers come on stage, I want to say something to you all black people. Every brother and every sister leader qualified to be president of this country. We just said in Kwekwe, I was married I wish I'm married. If all like a them can marry, if them can take nothing and make something, I was wrong with it. Sisters and brothers, and we're going all the way. No, I ain't done with y'all yet. We're going all the way. We're picking the team, and then the captain will come later. Now we want to be the captain. Sisters and brothers, as Aubrey and I take our leave, we leave you in capable hands. Our senior counsel, our people's lawyer, we know, Nigel. Brothers and sisters, good night. Make some noise for David Hines. Make some noise for Aubrey Norton. And I want you to make some noise for Kadaki. Every time I come to Buxton, I know I come here home. But we're gathering tonight in some difficult times. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about education and alienation. And I can keep it real because I can give you some real figures so you understand how badly off we are. And you understand when David says we have to carry the attack, we have to carry the attack. The World Health Organization says that 20% of the children in this country are living in severe food poverty. In other words, they ain't eating a meal a day, barely making it. That is in the fastest growing economy in the world. And you know what that 20% look like? The Ministry of Education 2 years ago said just about 50%, just under 50% of our children are not finishing secondary school. Let me translate that to you in real terms. Another statistic. Over the next 5 years, there will be 60 to 70,000 jobs for the skilled and semi-skilled. You understand? That's 60 to 70,000 jobs across the board. 60 to 70,000 jobs for the skilled and semi-skilled. And what they don't tell us is that the Guyanese will not be able to fill 60 to 70% of those jobs that are coming. So translated, that means this, brothers and sisters. We dropping out of school, we not qualifying, so we ain't gonna get the jobs in the new economy. And when they say they're building infrastructure and they're building roads and they're building bridges, you gotta ask them who they're building it for. Because in the new economy, we will not have the education to get the jobs. So it's not we gonna be using the infrastructure. We building infrastructure for somebody else to use, some rich people. And what they have not told us is we're building infrastructure for all them foreign workers who are going to come into the country. They will get the skilled jobs. They will get the semi-skilled jobs. And we will not even be able to qualify for semi-skilled and skilled jobs in our own country. So we are walking ourselves every single day into second-class citizenship in the richest country in the world. Don't be startled by it. Ask yourself what you are going to do about it. Because you cannot possibly sit down in 2024 and watch somebody else design a system that will walk you into second-class citizenship. We have a history of sitting down and allowing people to walk over us until we get tired. Came here last year, things were not as bad as they are now. The most important factor in a new economy is education. Number one, you can't eat the roads when they build it. You can't eat the culverts when they build it. And if you can't qualify to get jobs in your own country, what are you going to do with the roads and the culverts that they're building? You're going to sit down on the side of the road and watch a set of rich Guyanese and a set of foreigners drive past you with contempt, and you will be confined to poverty for the next 10 to 15 years in your own country when they tell you that you are going to be little Dubai. So it asks the question, what do we have to change about this structure? We have to get rid of the PPP for sure. For sure, we have to get rid of the PPP. But perhaps I should talk a little bit about that. Jesus had, I think, was 12 disciples. One of them collect 30 pieces of silver. One of them collect 30 pieces of silver. Iscariot collected 30 pieces of silver to sell his people out. Every single day they are coming into our communities and they're offering us the 30 pieces of silver at today's value. And we keep accepting it. And every time we accept it, we are making sure that the system that keeps us in poverty continues to keep us in poverty. There is a philosophy going around that money got to make. That's what's going around now. But ask yourself, if they're giving you 30 pieces of silver, how many pieces of gold they're keeping for themselves? This oil that we have offshore, that is now 18 billion barrels, belongs to all of us. It don't belong to the government. It don't belong to the vice president. It belongs to all of us. And you understand now, if you are not seeing a cent when the country is earning $65 million an hour. Think about that. Guyana is earning $65 million an hour off of oil. In any given day, we are earning more than $1 billion for doing nothing. Ask yourself if in that $1 billion on a daily basis, if you have seen any change in your circumstances. The most important people to the future of this country are the teachers. And we live through a government that refused to pay the teachers a decent salary. And all of us are responsible because we did not have the courage to go out in the street and stand behind them and close down the society until the teachers got a living wage. How have we reached the stage today, brothers and sisters, where we are so afraid we cannot even stand in solidarity with the people that are most important to our future? because money got to make. Somebody want come out because they're frightened something else get pulled. Somebody want the daughter to talk out public. But that is how we will get picked off one by one by one. And the little 30 pieces of silver that they give to you and tell you money got to make. Remember, ask them how much of the billion we making every day they're giving to our communities. If you go up and down the coast and you go to Linden, you will see the quality of roads, the quality of health service. You will see the quality of buildings. Look at the high rises that are going up in your country and ask yourself how many of them, with all the money got to make, is owned by people of African descent. And ask yourself, in this one Guyana, how come it's one set of people who can't build high rise? One set of people ain't making it. One set of people on fixed salaries while you making $1 billion. And when we ask for direct cash transfers, in other words, cash grant, out of $1 billion a day, you can't find money to give the citizens. Ask them if it is acceptable in this day and age for our people with all that wealth that belongs to all of us to be in a position where we cannot feel the wealth. We are still struggling to see our way, and it is difficult to find a solution. Every week we got a yard fowl production on Thursday. They call it the VP press conference. And every week he finds time to insult people. The most recent one in response to our request for direct cash grants to people is he said, I read the lawyer from the MP, I read it this afternoon. He said that we're not a developing country, we're still struggling. All of a sudden we move from the fastest growing economy to we are developing, we don't have enough money to share out. And they only say that when you say, give us the money directly. We can't eat the roads today. And if we're not going to be able to get the jobs to buy the cars and build the houses tomorrow, what good is the road, the culvert, and all them fancy private hospitals that are going up? So brothers and sisters, tonight, when we reflect about emancipation, I just want to go back briefly before I close to 1763 to talk to you about how much foresight our foreparents had when we were in the most desperate of circumstances. A lot of us know Coffee because we see the statue, but 90% of us do not understand that when that revolution started in 1763 in February in Hollandia and Zeelandia in the upper Berbice River, not only did they take over the plantations, not only did they remove the people who had kept them enslaved, the first governor of this country since 1763 was Coffee. And he ran that colony for a year, traded and entered into discussions with the former slave owners and said, y'all could live downriver, we will live upriver, and we will treat each other with respect. We are living in a society today where nobody treats each other with respect. And the worst form of disrespect that we find today is this concept of one Guyana. And I want to talk to you a little bit about one Guyana just before I close. If you say we are one Guyana, and if the opposition is 49.5% of this one Guyana, how come you making decisions for us without consulting us about what is in our best interest. We are not your children. We are entitled to participate in the future development of this country on equal standing with anybody else. You can't tell me what's good for me. I am the only person that knows what's good for me. And so you, whether you're the president, the vice president, can't take your 50.5% and tell me you are going to determine the economic policy for the future of this country, and then turn around and parade a set of people in front of me and say, because they look like you, they participated. 49.5% of this country is completely shut out from the decision making. We cannot continue to sit down and take this. The Constitution has to change so that we will make decisions proportionate to our votes in this country in a free and fair election where they have biometrics so we can make sure that the dead people ain't come out the grave and go vote. We are in crisis. Those people who have not yet checked to see if you're on the register, the difference between you being a citizen today and being a second-class citizen tomorrow is whether you get up and you go and check and make sure you are on the register. But that's the first step. I want us to get up at 5:30 when that election comes. Don't worry with the November thing he's telling you about. And make sure that at 6 o'clock, all of us are in that line. So that when we run the numbers by lunchtime, they can't come and tell me something else this time. We will know by lunchtime how many dead people attempted to vote. And if we have biometrics, unless they cut off the finger and carry it to the polling station, they ain't voting this time. Brothers and sisters, I urge you, I beg you, this is the most critical time in the future of our people, or for the future of our people. If we don't get up and stand up now, understand that when our children and grandchildren ask us in 5 to 10 years why we ain't make it, we can't say to them, we didn't bother to get up. So I want to leave you with a message. There is no competition between Aubrey and I. None whatsoever. You could take that to the bank. There is no competition. I will say to you that brother has been in politics longer than I have. I have consulted with him. So don't let them come with the 30 pieces of silver and tell you that Aubrey and I got problems. Understand? This is not time for Jesus. We ain't taking no 30 pieces of silver. All of us know, brothers and sisters, better must come. Peace. All right, let's say for Brother Nigel. We are marching to Zion. We are marching to Zion. And the campaign has begun here in Buxton tonight. You all hear me? The campaign has begun here tonight. And we are going all the way. So that when we come next year, we come here as the government. Let me hear you all. Yeah! And so, onward, Christian soldiers, marching. Those of you from Buxton know that I born and grow in this little thing here. I spend my childhood, my youth, right there. And I've had the good luck and good fortune to do some things that if someone had asked me when I was living there, would you have been able to do that? I would tell them, possibly not. And I'm saying that with lots of emotions, because some people still think that to lead this country, you can't born in a place like this. Aubrey Norton born and grow in a place like this. And sometimes we people put the bar so high that our people can't jump over. You all from Buxton know that I got me falls. Not true? But that does not disqualify me from leading this country. After all, I'm from Buxton. And so, when I look at Aubrey Norton, I see myself, little black boy that come from humble beginnings. And he is qualified. Let's put our hands together and bring us in. Aubrey Norton.
Good evening, Buxton. Good evening, Guyana. In this era of the internet, when you speak in Buxton, you speak to Guyana and the world. This evening, I want to start where I believe we need to start. We need to start by acknowledging. We need to start by acknowledging that if Guyana is to grow, the PPP must repeat that for me. If Guyana is to grow, and they must go because they discriminate against us. They must go because they are incompetent. They must go because they are corrupt. And every time they steal from our treasury, they put us in poverty. And we didn't come here to live in poverty. We come here to get a good life. And we will do everything to ensure we get a good life. I want you to understand that when Irfan Ali, Barra Jack Dill, and them come, they don't come here because they like you or they have an interest in you. They come because they hope to browbeat you so you can vote for them. But we got sense. We know that they have no interest in us. We left when we were in government 2 bridges to be built. The Demerara Harbor Bridge, which was our idea and they ran quick with it, and the bridge in Wismar, Linden. But they refused to build the one in Linden and going in their own time kitty-catter because the people there don't vote for them. So if they had liked them, they would have done it. We were building an athletics track in Linden, one in New Amsterdam, and again, 4 years on, they can't finish it. They have no interest in finishing it. So when they come to you, don't let them browbeat you. If you look at what they're doing, they're virtually saying to us, your role is to clean the drains. And their role is to get rich at our expense. We must reject that. Any government that decides that it will have policies and programs to keep us in poverty is an enemy of us. And so the People's Progressive Party is an enemy of us. You know, our people are special. They are special. You believe, if one of our leaders had 19 fraud charges, they would have become president? You believe if I had qualifications from the University of Iceland, I would be leader? But they don't care. Bare face is the word, I like it. As far as they're concerned, they can do what they like, when they like, how they like. But may I say this to you? We are at the point where even PPP supporters are fed up with them. And we must do our work in a structured way to ensure we get rid of them. As a government, it is our intention to empower our people, all the people of Guyana. They criticize David Granger, saying that he didn't look at African Guyanese. He looked at every Guyanese. And that is why it was spread across this country. When he improved electricity and virtually ended blackouts, he did it for all Guyanese. He did it for all of us. When you are getting quality water here, before they spin and change the system to ensure other villages get it other than you, David Granger, the AP and UAFC were acting in the interest of the people of Guyana. And so we said to you, we are going to operate in the interest of all the people of Guyana. However, we reject you carrying the bread and leaving us with the crumbs. And you're not only comfortable with carrying the bread, you're out of place. You take a nincompoop and make him police commissioner. You take a man who is not qualified because you know you can control him. No wonder the thief is so much in the police force. They know thief they attack. Why you think they go sit down about them and a thief? It is this government by its kleptomaniac attitude. It is the thieving nature of this government that causes low ranks to believe that they can thief and get away with it. Had they investigated Barrow Jagdale when Vice News made the allegation, that they're involved in bribery and corruption, we send the information to the police. I wrote the police commissioner, but the police commissioner couldn't act because they are controlled by the PPP. And now that they are accused of illegality, Jagdale can act. Show me your company, and I'll tell you who you are. We have a dance of thieves, but we have to change the music. I believe that we are going to end the PPP term in government. We will do the work to end the term. And we said to you, in government, we will have a people-centered development strategy in which we utilize the resources of this country to put it in the hands of the people of Guyana. But there are a lot of things we have to do. You know, tonight we are talking emancipation, but we must not fool ourselves. We have been emancipated from chattel slavery, but we still are to be emancipated from mental, economic, and socio-psychological slavery. And so I want to urge you to speak to every child so that they must understand that they have value, that they are human beings like every other human being. And they should not allow people to treat them as anything lesser than human beings. My friends, we are at a point where the key thing to save us is organization. We are going to succeed if we are organized in every village. We are going to succeed if we are organized in every street. And so I said to you this evening, our task is to get out there and organize. You know, there are some of them running around villages calling themselves the PPP. I don't want you to fight them. I want you to engage them. Because you know they recognize that apart from the little patents they're getting, the government has no interest in them. And so we need to engage them and talk to them. On this one, I have a slightly different philosophy to my friend and colleague, Nigel. I said, take the money because we money. But when the time comes to vote, vote the backside out. Don't let anybody tell you it is not Irfan money. It is not Barajak their money. They might have, through illegal means, gotten a great portion of it. But the reality is, it is our people's money. We're entitled to it. And I want to endorse Nigel's position that there should be cash grants. But our cash grants must be done in a way that all our people can access it. Those who are entitled to it can access it, and we account for it. At present, what the PPP got is not cash grant. They got a gravy train. They put the gravy and they take out good bit for themselves, and now and again they give you a little bit. That approach wouldn't work. Let me say this to you this evening. Cash grants cannot take you out of poverty. Cash grants won't allow you to fight the high cost of living. What is needed is proper government policies. And we are saying to you, we will put the policies in place to take our people out of poverty. We will develop the kind of grants and funding for people in small businesses. I don't understand why, with all the money they have, people who earn less than $200,000 still paying income tax. That should end. That should end. Our economy is doing well, but they cannot give resources to the people because it is stealing. That is the bottom line. Don't fool yourself. Parajak, they'll come from a hiker as a little boy on a bicycle. He came back a wealthy man. And his salary can't show it. I said to them regularly, put your wealth against your salary, and if it could stand up, I resign. But it can't. And so, let us understand we're in a fight to ensure that people of this country benefit from the resources of our country. And I say this to you as African Guyanese. We are not hopeless. We are not hopeless. The solution lies in our hands. We have to organize ourselves. We have to educate ourselves. And when I say this to you, we have to relink with Africa and ensure we mobilize assistance from Africa for the people of Guyana, especially the African Guyanese. Because what they try to do is make it appear as if we are hopeless. We are not. We will develop the strategies to engage Africans wherever they are in the world, especially in Africa, so that we can help the African population in Guyana and wherever they are to overcome the racist PPP government challenges. And so, my friends, there is hope. We will vote them out. You have no doubt about that. But the issue doesn't finish only with voting them out. Having voted them out, we have to have a proper plan to ensure that the African Guyanese community is financially literate and has the ability to run small businesses and progress. Let us have no doubt in our mind. We should not be going back into government solely to focus on giving our people jobs. We will give you jobs, but the reality is we need an entrepreneurial class to ensure that we are empowered and stronger and cannot be made footballs. That is the reality we have to deal with. Education, I agree with Nigel, is critical. And this government has no care about education. They always put up the first 100. Every exam, the first 100. What happened with the other 15,900? Do you recognize in this country that about 15 to 16,000 children do what is called grade 6, or them all like me know as common entrance? And only about 5,000 of them will end up finishing secondary school with 5 subjects with math and English. You know what that means? It means that like 10 to 11,000 children every year falling through the crack. And so we have a major job on our hands to ensure we revamp the education system so that by the time a child needs grade 4, they can read, write, count, comprehend, and reason. We need to give them that base. Because if we continue as we are, you will have a minister who seems to have nothing to do. You know, every time I see a minister reading out common entrance exams, I just want to she pass common entrance. Why would you, a big woman, and big in the literal sense of it, want to sit down reading out common entrance results? Your task is to transform the education system so that you're not read out 95% you know pass. So you're not going to present yourself with the first 100. So my friends, we have to revamp the system. We also have to recognize that we live in a multi-ethnic society. I want to say this to you. One of the things Barrett Jack Dale wants is a clash between the ethnic groups. Because it is evident even to their base that they are corrupt, that they are incompetent. And so even their supporters are moving away from them. And we must not play into their hands. We must fight the regime. We must make it clear that our battle is against the elite in the People's Progressive Party. We have no war with the average Indo-Guyanese who sometimes face the same problems as us. We must also recognize that we have to be in solidarity with the indigenous people because they face similar problems. So I'm saying to you, we have a struggle in our hands. We must handle it sensibly. We must ensure we do intergenerational preparation. Every African Guyanese must do what it takes to ensure that his or her child is doing better than they did. And if we can improve every generation, then we will solve the problems of the African Guyanese. And so, my friends, I said to you, there is hope. There is scope. But for us to realize what we want to realize, I want to end where I began. I want to remind you to solve the problems, to do the things we want to do, to ensure Guyana develops. It is our duty to do everything to ensure that the People's Progressive Party goes so Guyana can grow. That is our reality. So I say good evening to you. Enjoy emancipation. Remember that this struggle for total freedom continues. Have a good evening.
The Lion of Judah shall break every chain and give us the victory again and again. We are making sport. The first thing we're doing when we get into government is we're restoring the subvention to Ipadachi. Are you hearing me? And Aubrey was talking about education. We're going to make sure that African Guyanese history and African history is taught in the school to our children. And we're going to make sure that this government, our government, pays reparation to our people, African Guyanese people. And we're going to make sure that the 30% and 35% that the teachers are asking for, that they get it, because they deserve it. Sisters and brothers, we are in a serious struggle, and a serious struggle must bring seriousness out of us. You all know I don't play. If you interfere with black people, you interfere with me. I understand everybody got a role to play. And my role is to stand at the gate and defend and protect the African race in this country without fail. Nancy! Brian Chester been the Nancy. Nancy story not get bad boy. Teacher may say, "Stop you." Emancipation to one another. Nancy! 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 Well, them say, I can't talk the guy and they say, well, I was stupid. I mean, when we say I was stupid, everybody understand what I mean, right? I was stupid. So, it's a lot of things continue to happen, and like, we get to know, what must say, repression, whoa. I know one or two things, but in any case, all of these things I now because they tell me, say, I open and I will not see, I open and 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 Nancy! You know when you hear them and see this in the 7 man, they not see them old, they not see them cool. But still you're laughing and you guys waiting. Yes. Same Nancy. Story. Nancy! Well, all them years ago, you know.
All right, then get time for seriousness and time for skin teeth. This is not skin teeth time. You can hear about Nancy's story later, but right now we continue to talk about the things. Morning again, it's 22 minutes to 8 o'clock to the 9 o'clock hour. The lines are open. Let's open up the lines. Because I would like to hear you have your say on that show of unity by the brothers. on the night of the 31st at Buxton Line Top. When any one of them turn president, you're going to say, I've been there when they come on the stage. Right? I was cheering them along. When I say I'm talking about you, those of you who were there, and those of you who are seeing it now, you'll say, I witnessed it virtually. This was in the making. The ancestors were on the Buxton Line Top when the three brothers took to the stage. Last evening, a sister who came to, hey, big up yourself, Albert Smith. I see what you do. Thank you. A sister came to, remember we had the eldest warrior yesterday. I'm happy. I'm really, really happy. The elders came out. And then later in the evening, the youngsters came out too. So we had a nice intergenerational mix during the day, right? It was a beautiful intergenerational mix during the day. And I love to see intergenerational mixes because the fact is the elders still have a lot to offer us as a people with their wisdom and so on. And so I was happy for that. I'm always happy for that. So it was good. Right, so yeah, we had a good time yesterday. We had a good time yesterday at Club Twilight with the elders. It was nice to see them out here. And they had a good time. We engaged each other in conversations. And as time goes by, I would like to share some of those clips with you. I hope they don't mind because we were recording some of it. I'd like to share some of those clips. Good? Happy Emancipation Day, and it can't be Emancipation Day an Emancipation Day anymore. We have to live our emancipation daily. And we have to fight every day to maintain our state of freedom and to build on that state of freedom. And that's what I want you to be encouraged about this morning. I want to encourage you that, hey, somewhere in you, you must find that will to say, come hell or high water, I will be protecting the freedom which my ancestors fought for and won. Right? The lines are open, like I said. I have some voice notes and I'll play them for you.
I Kadaki. From the time they had the oil spill and it messed up Trinidad a lot, since then his name was mentioned. I don't know if it's from the incident.
Wow. Quality life.
Morning, Kadaki. Oh, what a nice way to start our morning. And to hear Dr. Hines say the campaign has just started. Now remember, it started Buxton and we're going to celebrate in Buxton. It's such a nice feeling. The second thing, to clear all the doubts on people's mind, that to stop this narrative that is being manufactured and is being transmitted around the place that Aubrey going alone, Nigel going alone, Aubrey and Nigel got beef, Nigel clear it up for them. That was a wonderful thing he did. That was so nice. I want to see what unity is. And we have to unite, no matter what, we have to unite in this struggle. And we're going to win it. We are going to win it. Could I say something outside of this? Can't hear you. Kadaki?
Yes, Lord, what did you say?
Yeah, could I say something outside of this?
Of course. It's
Good. To all the people who've been bashing and beating Sarah Ann Lynch, and I was saying to people, stop it. Sarah Ann Lynch is there to do what Sarah Ann Lynch came to do. Stop it. I want them to see the results are showing up now. The results are showing up. For me to know good about you, I gotta come and show that I kind of love you. And you see everything is coming out now, one at a time. If PPP could put hand on her neck is problem. And last but not least, the blood of those Henry boys are boiling in Hope Town. To see what the Hope Town people has encouraged that man onto their sacred ground to parade his clungish self. I don't know what is wrong with our people. What is wrong with our people? How could you bring that man on such ground where you lost two of your sons to his people in the most gruesome manner? People, I'm sorry for you all. Y'all don't get y'all don't get educated and to know what's up against you. Your press is gonna continue to eat you for lunch, dinner, and supper. Have a good day.
Make kanki, I want kanki. This is a kanki, original Buxtonian made kanki. I see some people masquerading with things in tin foil and plastic wrap and all kind of thing. Hey, I get up and go cut them plantain bush, squeal them, and wrap the kanki inside. I used to have this thing here. Good. The lines remain open 6225933 is the number to call. You tune to the Guyanese morning time. Let's talk the talk. Call your life.
Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning to you, sir.
Happy holiday, belated happy holiday. Thank God. You guys enjoy holiday. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We are hearing you.
All right, good. I just keep the best for the last. But let me represent what I normally talk about Sarah Lynch. Give me a time. Sarah Lynch come to the media and tell black people plain with 4 or 5 Venezuela women and said Guyanese people must respect them. But nigga use a word, fine print. Black people must respect them Venezuela woman because they're more president there. What are your man talking? Let me go back again. Sarah Lynch went to Texas with that wicked Tony government. And where was she time for talk? She said, no, we did it. What she did? She called Pompey and tell Pompey, come out and use a word and sanction the winter to step down and let the massive take place. What's wrong with we black people? This is the problem. We don't know politics and politics. Sarah Lynch was in bed with Jack Gilliam. And according to this man, what wanted by the government or was investigating the big picture show when she was in barbecue. What Sarah Lynch did? Come on, black people now. Come on. That is the problem. Are you still there?
Yes, Paul. And you know what I want to tell you?
Yes.
Why are we wasting our time revisiting what Sarah Lynch did?
No.
Talk to me. I'm listening. Let the record show I did not interfere in terms of disconnecting Flash's call. Maybe it was the time when he was going to get the usual internet interruption. But the thing is, sometimes we just have to recognize that we have to use our time wisely. What we happening on Sarah Lynch? Sarah Lynch did what Sarah Lynch had to do. We are at a stage where we have to do what we have to do. I'm not saying forget, but I'm saying move on. Quality life.
A blessed good morning to you, Mr. Kadaki. A blessed good morning to you, my brother. It's a real blessing to enjoy such a program that was put over by Mr. Arby Norton. Mr. The African in general, but the speech that Mr. Arby Norton is wonderful. Mr. David Hines and our lawyer, our beloved lawyer, wonderful. We didn't need a better bunch like the three of them coming together. And they're the strongest bunch for this election. But Guyanese, please let us go out and defeat this PPP government that's already defeated. And one thing I want to say to the PPP government, the old PPP government must know, crop would never know the difference between water until he go and lick kitchen window. I should never talk under them three kitchen window for the African race. God bless this nation. We have to get there, we build there, we must happy emancipation life. Let us continue to live our life, emancipation and free from the jars and the class of the people. Long live us. God bless you, Mr. Kodak.
Thank you, caller.
I was just trying to do it.
Okay. I am right here. Fret not yourself. I want you all to take a good look at that photograph and we shall talk. Good morning. Hello. Hi. Hello, good morning. How may I help you? Hello, good morning. Good morning. How may I help? Hello. Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, are you morning? Welcome to another program of Guyanese Morning Time. It is 7:31 on the 5th day of August in the year 2024. How are you doing? How may I help you? Good morning. Hello, how may I help? Are you calling for the live program? So do you want me to put you live? Let's go. I like rules, but sometimes I break them. So here we go. Call you live.
Yes, good morning. Like I said, I have a concern because all the leaders, Dr. Hines, Aubrey Norton, and now Nigel Hughes. I am from West Coast Province, and all these leaders, they're passing the first village as you enter Region 5, and they're going to places like Belgium, Hopetown, Litchfield, Port, but none of them ever stop in this little village to have a talk with us, to find out our problems, and see how much they can help.
Caller.
So I will be grateful if one of these leaders can stop in this little village by the name of Prophet to listen to the resident of that community, their cries, and see how much we can help. Because residents in that community are hurting really, really bad. So please, if you can convey this message to our leaders, if
Caller.
they are not listening presently.
Caller,
Yes.
they might be listening. Question. Do you think I can help?
Well, if you listen to us, then maybe you can.
So would you like me to visit Prophet?
Of course.
When?
Well, you tell us when you can.
No, sir.
And we will
No.
try to
Here it
arrange.
is. You see, that is the thing. You have to take responsibility. Don't worry when I can. I'm asking you when you would like me to visit. Then you make it, what's the word? Necessary. Let me just use that little word here for me to make the time to come and visit. When do you think
All
you
right.
can arrange for me to visit Prophet?
All right, let me look at my schedule and see if we can arrange for maybe next week Sunday.
Good, very well. Put it together.
So
Hit me up. Give me. Don't drop anything on me suddenly. I don't do sudden.
Okay.
Right. Good. Give me adequate
So
time. I'll arrange to come to Prophet. We might very well some discourses you want to have outside the eyes of the camera, but the possibility is we will do a tour of the community, show some of the things that people are concerned about life and so on and so forth. We'll take it from there. I will certainly, once you set the date and time, try to encourage the Nigel Hughes and the Aubrey Norton and the David Hines to accompany me.
Thank you so much. So I'll reach you back on this number.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much and have a great day.
You too, sir. Good. So there we have it. We have a visit to do. We're supposed to go to Prophet sometime whenever it's arranged. Anybody else wants us to visit their communities? Let me know. The lines are open. Tell me which community you're from and if you feel neglected by the opposition workers, opposition candidates, opposition representatives, whatever you want to call them. Let's make dates. I'm very serious. And I don't even have to tell you that I'm serious because you know how I operate. I've been out there with Melanie. I've been at Victoria. I've been at Anne's Grove. I've been at Vigilance. I've been out there. Success. I've been out there. Camps TV has been out there sharing the people's concerns with you. And so since there are other people who have concerns that here, the leaders are not coming, I'm going to lead the way. Organize those visits and I'm going to lead the way. I'm going to come with whoever else is willing to come. Right? Caller, you're live.
Yes, good morning to you and all my other African Guyanese brothers and sisters in Guyana. I love the way you respond to our brother. Thank you very much for that. We Guyanese love to see leaders before we can help others. No, you set the stage right. Let me move on. This morning, I thank God that I live to see and hear something. What you hear and see, flat God, talk to me this morning. On the same program, I always call out that the day Mr. David Hines and Abby Nathan stand up and keep a rally and stand up and lift them hands together and said, as a coalition, we will take back Guyana for all Guyanese to have a better life. And I live to see that night, that when the three brothers then lift their hands with unity, love, and support. Let me move on again. I live to see and hear, when I see, hear, that I'm the first one on the program saying that when the government change, the next month, all senior citizens must get $60,000 because when I calculate it, I see before the government leave, citizens will not get $60,000. Anyway, you represent me one time because a black brother said, oh, Flash Garden, $60,000 cannot take out for poverty. But he did not listen long and then talk. But you explain to him what flag garden mean. Last weekend, pan this guy, my black brother, what his name again? Wayne Caesar, a very young, he coming up just like you on the program. The program is very short, spicy. One of the two guests, I would use the word, one of my Indian brother on his show used the word, I said, the government must give senior citizens $60,000. All these months and years, nobody talk about $60,000. When I mentioned, you say, Jack Joe came up, but 2 weeks after, and said he's going to give senior citizens $70,000 till next year. He used the word next year. Then two weeks after, AFC keep a press conference, and my sister, I believe her name is Fernandez. She said, they look forward for the government give the citizens them 70. You are, when I said, you are opposition. You got to go more high, 90 or 100. You cannot go the same way because you need to go back in office. And I thank God that's what my Bible teach me. Don't be educated fool, be educated wise. I see a video. I call Guyana to verify that video for see if it's old or new. But if it's old, I will still talk about it. I see young people, grown people, they climbing up fence to go and enjoy themselves on something where will not benefit them and their children. To go and dance on water, but when to come out and protest, they cannot walk on street. To go and protest. That young man Wayne mentioned Wonderland name many times on his program Saturday. If Wonderland could come from Borbies and protest in Georgetown, and they live in Georgetown, much of them, and cannot go and protest, and you're blaming other people and coming for your program and said, oh, ABC. If something happened to them, kids or family, they're on water enjoying themselves and left them children to save and protect. I see a next video, I will talk about it too. Are you still there?
Yes.
This young lady, Miss Amanda, who wanted to lead Guyanese people, she come in Parliament, I believe it was sometime last week or the week before, and talk how the Indian are preparing mutton curry with Parliament and dal and all this fancy food, and people outside punishing and children punishing. Then Anil come behind her after her and said, she didn't tell y'all she sit down and eat and enjoy too. And she go back 2-3 times. What are we standing for? When that Cody lady from Bordeaux come out and call us hungry belly father and all kind of names, Jagdio support her. When Jagdio support that Cody lady is when the government going in Parliament for the first time. One of the media asked Jagdio, do you believe the opposition going to come to Parliament? He said, I don't know. But what I do know, that they're going to come to eat the food. Wait, they mean learn from those words? Women, y'all can get it all and cook your meal and take to Parliament and buy your water and take it there. What an insult. I take it personal because they're supposed to learn, walk with the food, don't money taxpayers' money. But be more, represent your identity, your dignity. Parliament workers, young Parliament, I stand up nonsense. Stop it. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for your call. Thank you for your call. It is childish. Is the word churlish? What does that word mean? It came to mind. Churlish. I'm going to find out just now. Charles the stomach. It is childish. It is imbecilic. It is undignified for anybody much more politicians, parliamentarians, representatives of the people to cosmati over what they eat. It is all of that. It is undignified. But it is principled to highlight for the world when the people's political representatives are eating the entire hog and throwing the offals to the citizens. It is principled to highlight that. You know, they say don't kiss and tell. Don't kiss and tell. Because you come across as I hear the word dubious. I know the word. I know the meaning. I'll let me. I hear the word dubious. Two-faced. Let me use that. Let me stay there. If you partake in what you consider wrong, and then you complain about that same wrong, let me give you a good example. And I beg you, don't beat me up. But I go there because sometimes I like to go to the extreme for people to understand what I'm saying. I grew up hearing about boys banking girls. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Banquet. 5, 6 boys taking advantage of one girl or one female. Is it okay for a male to take part in such extreme behavior? Or let's call it rape for simplicity, because that is what, well, sometimes you get consent signing. No. But let me call it rape. Is it okay for someone to partake in the gang rape of a female and then go to the police and report that this woman was gang raped? Does it make him better than the others? Does it vindicate him? Does it make him less guilty than the others? No. It's good that the MP, and this is the same mind you, let me say that. I ain't hear the comment, I ain't see the video, I ain't hear nothing. I'm working with what flashed. It is good that the MP can talk about what she witnessed as a member of parliament. But it is good, is it good enough that she partook in what was offered in parliament and then went and complained about the exorbitance? The exorbitance? I don't think so. You make a stronger case if you say, oh, look at this spread. Y'all do yourself. The corridor, rice, that, the other. You want? I don't want, because while y'all in here feasting your big stomachs, overindulging, overeating, there are children out there, for example, who, according to the United Nations, are malnutritionally oppressed. The children out there who are malnutritionally oppressed. They don't get 3 healthy meals per day. That is a stance that if you're serious about representing your people, one should take. Don't fool your belly. And know what I'm saying is, he said, don't fool your belly and then complain that they got hungry people outside. No. Protest by refusing to fool your belly and show solidarity with them hungry people. And then you will have a righteous leg to stand on. Right? It is an entitlement of members of parliament to be fed. Members of parliament have an entitlement. And media workers also over the years, have become accustomed to being fed when they go to parliament. So I don't know if that is considered an entitlement now, but the media workers over the years, at least when I worked with the Department of Public Information, were being fed. Perhaps as often as the parliamentarians ate, media workers ate, at least lunch and dinner. Good. Might not be the same quality of food, but they were fed. It's an entitlement of parliamentarians. I don't know that the parliamentarians themselves determine what they are going to be fed. Of course, they will cater for those who are vegetarians and those who are not. But as far as I know, it is the clerk of the National Assembly who's really the administrative office of the National Assembly. Okay? That is supposed to I would say determine the menu for the sitting. I don't know if he has to run robbing anybody to determine the menu for the sitting. Parliament is supposed to have its own budget. It's a constitutional agency. And the head of that agency is responsible for the spending. But in recent times, I can tell you that the current clerk of the National Assembly is not executing his functions in keeping with his job description. On the contrary, the clerk of the National Assembly, from my understanding, is now taking instructions, allegedly, from the Speaker of the National Assembly and the Minister of Parliamentary Affairs. You all know who Old Smoky, right? Minister of Parliamentary Affairs, Old Smoky. So they dictate to the clerk what they would like him to do. It is alleged that he continues to dance to their tunes because, first and foremost, he's a retiree who's on an extension of his contract for many years, too many. First and foremost. And secondly, it is alleged that he now drives or owns or is about to own or has approached the government to greenlight him owning a vehicle that, if the duties were to be paid on it, will value in excess of 90 million Guyana dollars. It is alleged that he drives it or he owns it or he's about to own it or has approached the government to greenlight him owning it through duty-free concession, a vehicle that is valued once the duties are paid or with duties calculated. More than $90 million. So in short, the clerk is singing or dancing to the tune of his masters, allegedly, so that he can get his perks in his retirement age or post-retirement years. Because he's already retired, he's on extension of time. My understanding is that there are only two other such vehicles in this country. One is owned by, allegedly, one is owned by Bar Jagdio. So it is alleged that the clerk wants to ride like the big boys. Okay? But I don't have to say necessarily allegedly in this one. Because I saw recently a what we call him? A returnee. A remigrant took the Guyana Revenue Authority to court for charging him more than 10% the value of the vehicle that he's importing through taxes. Based on what I read, it would appear as though that would have been the third vehicle in the country valued in excess of $90 million when duties are calculated. But in that news item, I learned that the remigrant won the case. The court decided that the GRA was in breach of the Remigrant Act or whatever it is, in that they couldn't unilaterally increase the taxes. I think it might be excise tax. And the law doesn't permit them to charge more than 10%. And so there's an implication there in that any remigrant who was made to pay more than 10% on their vehicular import must be refunded by the Guyana Revenue Authority, the excess. So if you're a remigrant and that is affected, you ought to approach the GRA for recompense. Good? But I know you're saying he moved from the Korean food in Parliament and so on. And who went back 3 and 4 times? No, that didn't concern who went back 3 and 4 times. Because if it's nice to do it twice. And for the most part, every Guyanese enjoy a good duck curry. I don't like it. Right? I don't like it. But if it's nice to do it twice, it's a matter for you. But it's your entitlement according to the provisions of the National Assembly. It's an entitlement for parliamentarians to be fed. They get mid-morning tea, then they get a lunch, then they get mid-afternoon tea, and they get dinner. That's at least 4 meals. And of course, anytime in between the sitting, they can get up and go to the what we call it, lunch, and drink a shot or two of Grey Goose. That's why a lot of parliamentarians, when they sit in the house and they start talking, you know that they're talking through the air. So they're drunk like fish. They're drunk like a fish. So a lot of the things you talked in Parliament, sometimes it's drunken language. But they say what a drunken tongue reveals, a sober mind conceived. Right? Good. So in short, what Anil must have been engaging is if you could kiss and tell, I could kiss and tell too. My advice is you have to choose your struggle. I got a good friend like to say that. Choose your struggle. You have to choose your struggle. It's either you want to duck curry and drink dal, or you want to highlight the sufferings of the people there while your colleagues are drinking dal and eating duck curry. I know what my choice would have been. And as we're talking about that, that was a discourse that hinged on the cost of living. Right? Cost of living. Guyanese are seeing hell. Guyanese are seeing hell in this economy. You go to the marketplace and you will know what I'm talking about. I mean, there was a time when people used to make a lot of noise about it. And there's a problem with us in this country. We talk for a day and then we allow things to become normalized. We talk for a week and then we allow things to become normalized. Well, last year, anybody complained that a pound of celery is $4,000, $5,000, $7,000. Well, last. But the reality is still out there. I went to the market while we were preparing for the 1st of August Village Elders Feast to get ground provisions. I got witnesses. They said these days when you talk things, you gotta get receipts, as they call it. Morning, Becky. How you doing? I went to the market with Rebecca. And I'm picking a bone with you, girl. I hope you don't get offended. I'm not saying Rebecca is that type. From where I sit, she has a pure heart. You know, there are lots of people who would give you contributions to stuff. And then if you were to tell them what it acquired, they're going to watch you like, what? It's what you do with this money? Where it gone? Right? Well, Rebecca was right there. Rebecca contributed to us hosting that event. And so Rebecca and we were going through the market and we were buying stuff. Of course, she saw where I put the money. And at one point when I pushed my hand into my pocket and I came out back with what was left, she said, the money done? Right? The money done? I said, well, you see, it's done, the money done. Right? I guess she had, I don't want to call it a reality check, but she really came to realize, what the heck? That's what Guyanese face it. Right? Because here, we had I collected what we call a salt bag so we can stuff this thing inside. These things that we buy. Because salt bag is full, you know. Right? The salt bag is full. And we spent in excess of $40,000. Good? In less than an hour, we spent in excess of $40,000. So let me tell you what the reality is. Last week I mentioned in the program, I think somebody was complaining about the cost of potatoes, sweet Irish potatoes. $200 a pound. Yeah, I think the young lady said it's selling at the Chinese for $180. But our community shop selling it for $200 or something. But when I said that, somebody said plant your own food or something like that. The reality is this. Things are very expensive in this country. I think, I'm trying to remember the exact comment, if it had anything to do with why I eat foreign potato or something. Edos are going right here. It's $200 a pound. Yam, When last year I had some yam. I love yams. I love yams, especially in a good curry. Don't worry the curry potato and curry edo. I love edo curry, but hey, when you come, if you want to make me enjoy a good curry, cook it with yam. It was one of my mother's favorite. She liked to cook a yam curry. Yam wearing felt hat nowadays is somebody say yam is wearing felt hat is $1,000 a pound for yam. $1,000 a pound for yam. Anywhere between $3,500 and $5,000 a pound is celery. Cassava, I think, is what? I can't remember the exact price of cassava. It might have been 260, eh? 260. 2 pounds 500. Imagine having to cook. Imagine having to cook a pot of metem for a family of 3 or 4. I guarantee you're spending a week's pay on it for one day meal. The cost of living is through the roof. And this imbecile, this Duns, President Yaget, saying that his government has done a lot to cushion the cost of living or the impact of the cost of living on Guyanese people. I don't see the cushioning. Yes, then it's champagne collecting. In many instances, the local produce is more expensive, especially if there are things that are being imported by the Chinese. It is alleged that the Chinese don't pay duties on anything in this country. Don't pay no taxes. It is also cheaper because in the countries of origin, their governments have policies that would make their agricultural produce especially cheaper than us here in Guyana. And so they can afford to export to another country at a cheaper cost. How is it? Or let me explain to you, why is it? Aerated drinks, for example, can come from Suriname, it can come from Trinidad, and maybe farther afield. Jamaica, because Jamaica does something called iCool. Those drinks can be imported from Jamaica, Trinidad, Suriname, and landed here. It costs way less to acquire them than what the local company Banks the HNDDL produce. Why? Let me explain to you why. CARICOM is a free market. The CARICOM community, common market, Caribbean common market, allows any member state to sell to any member state without being taxed. So they don't have to pay import tax. They might have to pay an environmental tax, which even the local companies have to pay. But their production cost is way less than the local company's production cost. Why? Because their electricity cost is lower. And you and I, if you're talking production, you know, manufacturing, you know, that electricity is a big input. So they got more stable electricity and they got cheaper electricity. Immediately, the input cost for that manufacturing agency is lower than the, let me say, competitors or equals in Guyana. Storage, freight, all of those things are cheaper in those countries than they are here. And so it's cheaper to manufacture in those countries and sell to Guyana. Why is Guyana not able to, with all of the resources that it has, compete like that? We've had leaders over the years who don't care about improving the lives and livelihood of Guyanese, but they're more concerned about fattening themselves with curry duck, dal, choker, and God knows what else. God knows what else. Then he's just saying, that's why I labeled this program this morning, this and that. Because my intention, and I'm enjoying where the discussion is going, or where it is right now. Then he's just saying, therefore government needs to intervene with subsidies. Do you know that governments, especially third world governments, are not allowed, at least not in an openly brazen way, to subsidize certain economic activities? For example, farming, I think, is one of them. Why? If governments were to be able to subsidize production of, let's say, rice in this country, then the cost will go down and the price will become competitive on the international market. The big governments, the powerful governments, don't want third world countries, developing countries, to be able to compete with their farmers. They want their farmers to be able to dump all their excess produce into third world and developing countries. And so the matter of subsidy is not a straightforward thing. But government can adopt policies that will aid their farmers to bring down production costs in third world and developing countries. Let me show you how. The man who is producing in Buxton and has to walk 12 miles into the farmland and 12 miles out of the farmland is less productive than a man who is producing, let's say, in Texas, that will jump into his vehicle and drive 12 miles into his farmland and drive 12 miles out of his farmland. He arrives there fresher. He can arrive there earlier. He can put in more work because his energy is not exhausted. He can put in more work over, let's say, 2 hours period, get back into his vehicle, drive back out, get freshened up, and go to an 8 to 4 or 9 to 5. That's a man from Texas. But a man who is in Buxton, who walks 12 miles, by the time he gets there, he's so exhausted, he might be able to pull 2 root. By the time he walks up back that 12 miles, it's 3/4 of the day finished, and so he is less productive. Are you understanding that? So the man in Texas might use 2 hours to plant 1,000 heads of arrows. If you put a value to that, it might cost him $100 per head. Or let's say $10 a head. The man in Buxton, in that same time, might be only able to plant 20 heads of arrows. And so the cost of production goes way high. And so when he is ready to reap and sell, he has to consider that high cost of production. And so his produce is going to be more expensive on the local market than the very produce being imported. That is what we're faced with in this country. Government policies are so darn poor that they keep farmers in poverty. They keep communities in poverty. Ask the youngsters in Buxton, how many bunches of plantains and bananas and how much cash crops go wasted on their farmlands daily, weekly, monthly, yearly? Because for the simple fact, they cannot access their farmlands efficiently. They can't access their farmlands efficiently. Some of them, because of the challenges, have to hold on a 9 to 5. And so they can only go to the farm on weekends. When they go to the farm on weekends, they find what? 10 sucker plant blow down, 4 bunch planting done turn or turn, done yellow, done ripen. 10 bunch banana ripe on the boards, eat them out. But these very farmers will be accused, or these very people will be accused of being lazy and not wanting to produce. I saw somebody say Guyanese have to be encouraged to do kitchen gardens. Yeah. But if the government is dissuading kitchen garden, no, you're encouraging Guyanese to do kitchen gardens. Oh no, the government is not dissuading Guyanese from doing kitchen garden. Listen to the Minister of Agriculture. The Minister of Agriculture being a share out seeds. I hope it's not wind seeds like a certain politician own. Where are citizens planting the seeds that they've been given? The size of house lots that the Guyanese government giving Guyanese people is so small, is so tiny, that your septic tank is going to offend your neighbor. It is so close to the neighbor's fence, or it has to be so close to the neighbor's fence, that your septic tank can become offensive to your neighbor. The average Guyanese citizens are now building slim homes. Slim homes. You ask the average Guyanese citizen who has been given a house lot by the government of Guyana, what is the width of the house that it could build? In many instances, it can be wider than 20 feet. 10-feet bedroom is a thing of the past. I grew up in 10-feet bedrooms. I grew up learning that a standard bedroom size in Guyana is 10 by 10. How many of you knew that? Or experienced that? A standard bedroom size is 10 feet by 10 feet, 100 square foot. And check the lands that they're giving, the house lots that they're giving to citizens. And with the requirement, because the requirement says that to your eastern fence, you have to have so many feet. I think it's 10. And to your western fence is 10. And to the front fence is another 10. And to the back is at least 7 or something like that. So the lands are narrow. Your house could barely fit on it. Where are you finding cultivation space? Where are you finding cultivation space? So yeah, it's good to talk these things. In theory, these things make sense. But when you're on the ground and you see the practical impracticality, the practical impracticality, yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, we just talking a good gap. JTK, I haven't considered a lot of things in my discussion about the farmer. We ain't got enough time for that. I just want you to understand the basic implications. Good? Yeah, I was plant kitchen garden. But how are we, why are we planting kitchen gardens? Or how are we encouraged to plant the kitchen gardens when the drainage and irrigation system in the communities is so darn terrible that you go to bed tonight, you get some rain, and tomorrow morning your garden is drowned? Y'all know the word drowned? Oh, he drowned, he dead. Drowned. It's covered, it's underwater. And so, yes, if you can get to plant a kitchen garden, you will save money, you will eat well. It is early morning. What I'm going to call it this morning, crass. It's pure crassness. When you come here to justify government punishing poor people, government limiting people's development, it's crassness. When you come here to justify that, Miranda Brown, don't tell me calm down. Why should they even be low-income homes? Or low-income house lots, as you call it? 40 by 40. 40 by 40. 40 by 40. You seriously are saying that is the size of a house lot? Thank you for the information. I never realized the damn thing is so small. 40 by 40. That is the low-income house lot size. And so if I build a 20 by 20, I will have enough space to cultivate. I will also have enough lack of privacy in my home that my children or other home dwellers can tell me all the songs I make at night. Andy, is that people development, Miranda Brown? Is that how you live? You said you're a parent. Your children could tell you or wake up and ask you if the Lord was coming last night? Huh? What indecency. These people have no... and you see, sometimes you wonder why you see some things around the society. But when people like Miranda Brown, government representatives open their mouth, you come to understand. Y'all remember them dark kennel that they're building on these bank there for low-income homes? The new technology, the concrete and zinc house? Huh? Why in this modern era people should live like that? This is not a day of logies anymore. Logies was during the time of slavery and indentured immigrants. And when I talk Miranda, say, don't insult me, don't call me names. But sometimes you just that crass in your comments. When the government and their friends and cronies are living in sprawling estates, oh goodness, that one will say he inherit generational wealth when he died, and mama and granny, all of them were just, according to critics, low lives. In 4 or 5 short years as Minister of Housing, that thief built a big sprawling estate. The pool house is bigger than 20 by 40 by 20 by 20. Come down to right at Spine Dam, where the ballet tyrant covered the lands from the people go for acting. For his friends and criminal friends and cronies. Go check his swimming pool or his garden perhaps. And you're saying here from the bottom of your heart, people should live in a 20 by 20. Is who Nigel Price asking the question? Miranda? You gotta be Miranda. Somebody said a 40 by 40 you're talking about is a two-car garage. Or if you're living in where? The USA, it's the size of a porch. But these folks feel that the way they treat with Guyanese, the ordinary Guyanese citizens, is justifiable. Poor people must live in ghettos. We must not come out of ghettos. What they call them, the projects. Guyanese must live in the projects, albeit modern projects. It's not Tiger Bay no more. It's not shack. It's not shacks separated by 10 feet of space anymore. It's a little improvement on shacks. It is a little improvement on shacks. These are well-built cubby holes. At 20 by 14, I think there's a measurement on the low-income homes. I hope I remember it. 20 by 14. I think it's 20 by 14. So our shanty towns are now built of 20 by 14. The fact that they have to live in less than 20 by 20 in a foreign land, Miranda, and pay $1,200 per month says that they see it better than living in a country that is the fastest growing economy, where the government has no respect nor care for the citizens. The fact that they can afford to pay $1,200 a month. I mean, people that say $1,200 anyway. But $1,200 is $240,000 approximately monthly, which average Guyanese can afford to pay $1,200 per month for housing and eat comfortably, drive a car to work, take care of other bills, including education. Help me to understand that, Miranda. Which citizen, ordinary citizen of this fastest growing economy can afford that? Except, of course, if they're in bed with the PPP as a fat cat, like Miranda. The lines are open. Did I say the lines are opened? Or did I just take a few calls? I can't remember. 6225933 is the number to call. It's 25 minutes past the 9 o'clock hour. You know, as a youngster growing up, we used to say, bag your face in shame. Go on, Miranda. You're not doing well this morning. You must drink up the Daru over the weekend, so you're a little tipsy. Not this morning, child. Call it like.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. And good morning to all Guyanese and all Guyanese in the Guyanese diaspora. In the diaspora, and happy emancipation to all of us, wherever we are. Two things I want to touch on. I want to say congratulations to the Guyanese athletes who participated. We're very proud of them and proud of the fact that they made it there. They were well dressed. I recognized the uniform they had on. I really admired their presentation. And so that's good to see how we represented ourselves in France amongst the international world. Hopefully we can do better. Second point, the 100-meter dash. I think the Jamaican sprinter, Cale Thompson, was robbed based upon the facts. The score came in for them at the time. The clock says 9.79 for both of them. So I don't know how the clock could give you 9.79. Yet persons are saying that Niles won by 100th of a second. But that 100th of a second is like Christopher Columbus discovering the world. Who believe that? Believe something else.
So let me ask you for curiosity's sake, now that I've followed these races and so on, but if it was given to the other athlete, what you would have said?
I support Niles.
But the clock showed both of them at 9.79 according to you. So if 9.79 for Niles, 9.79 for the other athlete is still 9.79.
Yes.
So if it goes either way, then somebody is going to argue that somebody got robbed, as you're doing now. But hear me.
It's a great question.
It's
a great question you ask.
But let me go to the technical aspects of sports and timing and so on.
Yes, sir.
The digital clocks that are used brings the times down to hundreds of millions of seconds. So
yes.
I guess that is what you don't see in front of the scene. Let me call it third, I would see behind the scene. So
yes.
Proceed.
And so the sprinter, he didn't even put on the Jamaican flag because he knew that something was wrong. But apart from him, we are spectating. And there is 100th of a second that exists. We know that, right? Something that the naked eye cannot detect. Notice that the clock itself, that the time clock itself couldn't even detect it. And that's why you see the teleprompter saying that they got the same time. Now, at 9.79 for both of them, that's a tie. There's nothing wrong with giving both of them the medal, particularly that Noah Lyles beg and crawl and scramble for catch up. He got beat right through the race. He got trunks right through the race. You see what I'm saying? So there's a lot here. Everyone is saying, oh, Niles, but Niles got beat at the 60-yard line. He got beat. See? So there's a race called 60-meter dash. So he got beat there. At the 70-yard, 75-yard, he got beat. He's being beat right through the race. He scrambled, and even the clock could not discern the 100th of a second until there came with some algorithms further down that you and I can detect.
He is a winner. Coffee is a winner for me. He is a winner.
Yes,
he has shown resilience.
Of course.
He is the winner for me. He has shown resilience. He didn't give up because he was beaten at this milestone and that milestone.
Yes, I totally, and I don't want to bemoan the point.
I wish the PNC would take that attitude to politics.
Yes. So this Thompson dash won the race, in my opinion, based upon the evidence. He led the race. You see, there is something about leading the race.
It's not where you start, man. It's where you finish. The race is not the swift, it's your endurance.
True.
So the man show more endurance. If you're saying Thompson was ahead of him all the time, the fact that he came so close to catching up to Thompson, the clock can't determine the difference in time, he's the winner.
And that's why the clock can't tell.
Anyhow.
That's why the clock is saying the exact time. Anyway, my second point. I just want to touch it as Caribbean people. We got to be involved in our own matters. That's all I wanted to say. So I like Noah Lyles. I like him. But, anyway. Secondly, Hope Town Soiree. Now, the Hope Town Soiree on Dr. Hines' show, Dr. Hines was talking about there's some people trying this thing to infiltrate us in Den Amstel. They're trying to infiltrate us in Hope Town, West Coast Berbice. Well, we'd heard West Coast Berbice. We didn't hear Hope Town. We recognized that it was Hope Town after it happened. Now, guess the funny thing. There are some Well, there was an invitation put out by Irfan Ali. Recruit some of the Hope Town people. And it's taken about between 7 and 10 families to the State House for dinner. Village elder people. Some from the diaspora and some from Hope Town that live there. So the diaspora people are taking the same buyout thing again. They're influencing people in the village. And they go into the State House to dinner and they're happy. Now, Lincoln Lewis lives there. He lives next door. The same family in the general area. Darren Wade lives there. He from Hope Town and Litchfield. And some of the people are related to Darren Wade by family's affiliation and family friends affiliation. So I'm waiting to see what they're going to see. Cornell from Belladrum, Colonel Sala. I want to know how these things are happening. Well, Colonel Sala them can't stop people from doing things. But what Darren Wade and Lincoln Lewis and Colonel Saul say about these people who are doing the very same thing that we accuse the people in Brooklyn of doing? Right? And Comrade Leader Norton was talking about this behavior yesterday. Right? Of why the PPP are behaving, trying to infiltrate groups. But I just want to let people know, some people are from the Hope Town village. And they got no business doing what they did. Going to the house to dinner with Irfan Ali. Considering this is the same Irfan Ali that abusing African Guyanese, turning over cars, saying all of these insultive things about African Guyanese. So how is it that Irfan Ali and the PPP really care about African culture when they are sowing such division amongst African Guyanese? And notice the division is not about politics. The division has to do with our cultural position.
Coffee.
Yes.
I'm going to engage you this morning. I hope you don't mind. You're wrong.
Sure. Go ahead.
The division is about politics.
Well, okay.
People without knowledge of their culture or history is like a tree without roots. Everything is political. If I can influence you, if I can bring division in your cultural activities, that's a good foundation from which to start to influence you politically.
Absolutely correct.
You're asking how it is, Leland Saul, Darren Wade, etc., etc. A whole long list of names live in these communities. But these things can happen. I'm going to say something that is very displeasing to some people this morning. And I put in on my camera so y'all could see my eyes. They say eyes are the windows to your soul. And I just bare my soul sometimes. A lot of our local leaders are not local enough. They are present for the camera, national scene, and the international scene. They spend too little or no damn time in the communities doing cultural or political work.
I wonder if Rick would work those about this happenings in Hope Town.
I just want to just tell you. This is what I just said. Address that.
Yes.
You heard what I said? You heard anything I said?
Yes, sir.
A lot of our local leaders who jump up high and jump up low on national television for international and national recognition do not spend enough time
on the ground
in the local communities to do local political work. People only see them when it comes to wanting a vote.
Yes, yes.
When the hard work, heavy lifting is to be done, people don't see them. But when all the hard work is finished doing, and there's time to present a face, they appear. That is why these things can happen. You know why? The people from overseas, as they say, the returnees, they are what we call them migrants, come and they go into these communities and they make their presence felt because they bring back a hamper. They got a day when they're sharing hamper. Right? They might influence the people around them because here we bring in hampers and we sharing and y'all accepting we a hamper. we got an influence in yard. So when I say, hey, Sunday morning we're gonna come out and we're gonna clean the neighborhood, they're gonna come out because they know they're getting a hamper.
And the influencing starts there.
Exactly. And the government recognizes, the PPP recognizes who are the people who has local influence in the community, and they influence them to influence the locals to go to dinner with them.
Exactly. Thank you so much for saying that, for pointing that out. Yes, and that's a phenomenon across
Who
Guyana.
vets lose. The PPP is doing what the PPP should do, and what other political parties and these so-called so-called black leaders should be doing every single day.
Yes,
I fault the PPP. I fault them.
I concur with your analysis, and I think, you know, it's better to point it out early than to have it late. Yep. I'll leave it on that. Yes. Thank you for accepting the call.
Thank you for calling.
Happy emancipation to all.
Proceed. It is 22 minutes to the 9 o'clock hour. You tune to the Guyanese morning time. Tune to the Guyanese morning time. I am your host, Kidaki Asaf. I'll tell you all the story because I see somebody picking at Nemo Flu Best. Mocha Queen, morning. That's what I call her. I don't know why, but that's what I call her. Congo Queen. Call her Holy Line. Somebody is saying Nemo Flu Best. Where is it? Only MP Nemo Flu Best is the only person normally be on the ground. The other day, somebody made a comment to me. They say, y'all listen, Nemo Flu Best walking, but Nemo Flu Best is only walking Mocha. Only in Mocha, Nemo Flu Best is working. I say, well, here, if only Mocha she's working in the right place. If you can't spend time in your local neighborhood, in your local community to do political work, and you're running all around doing it, I count you. Charity begins at home. Granger take black people for granted because he said them is your own. And you ain't got to do enough work with them. Do work to win over the other ethnicities and constituents and so on. I'm sure it contributed to the voice. Right? Do work in your local community. Don't just turn up when it's election time. Call it life.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed last night. And Kudaki, I just want to say that you open your big eye just now. And you open your big eye and say what you have to say. And you are damn right to say what you got to say. Exactly. For Buxton is you and Dr. Hines. And maybe there are others I don't know. Because if it wasn't for you and Dr. Hines, that come out and open almost how much years now, 4 years, they have come out with this talk show, I would have never known what is going on in my country and much less in my village. And I appreciate it very much. And Kadaki, you know one thing I have to say too? They could talk about we live in little homes and we paying such rent. But we living in the little people hut in America, and we can afford, I could speak for me, I could afford to do the things what I can do. And back home, the people cannot do it. So just showing them that this big money when they say Guyana is the GP so high. And if we wonder what about us here, because you know what? The people have to value our work. And because if you have, like in this country, have advocates for everybody, I hear many male talk and say that we have advocates. If people hear that you've been abused in your house, they have advocates. There are people who are advocating for housewives. There are people who advocate for men and every program we have in this country. Why Guyana cannot have those programs? Or even if they have those programs, it's supposed to be well known. You're able to collaborate because I have lots of Guyanese who marry to other ethnicity and is being abused in this country. I know one person. She used to have to live in she had to live in a car all because of that. And that is the reason why it is nice to go out of your culture and get married. But me not take no abuse from the time you raise your effing hand. Is it scissors or a chopper could get you? Nobody ain't abusing me for saying marriage for children. You're lying, not me. I must be a free, single, and disengaged woman. I was married, and I am telling you from my own story, if I don't like what I see, I coming out, and I am out of it. I am not, nobody gonna say, oh, but she's mistress, this and mistress that. Hell no. From the time you talk too much, too hard for me, I don't like that. My mother always say, I am very sensitive. Do not talk to me in a certain manner, because you're not even hearing from me anymore. I speak to you in the right way. You speak back to me. And if you want to talk to me in any manner, that is it for you, because that is the reason why I get up and go and work morning, noon, and night. As my daughter always ever said, oh, where's my mom? She got to work. Where's my mom? She got to work. I said, yes, I go to work to make you and do things for you. So in later days, you could have plenty. Please, Kadaki, you're doing the damn right thing. You tell them. Tell them as it is. Don't bite no lip for not speaking the truth. You are speaking the truth. Because they're not doing nothing for us. They're them little tiny space. I grew up, we had the house there and we had a backyard. Well, then other people come now and take up the spots. But, hey, people grew up in backyard. My cousin them and we used to plant there. That's how I learned to plant. In school, they teach us to plant behind Roman Church School. We got big space at the back there. And all to know, those were part of my cousin land, but we used to planting on. And she let us plant on it. My goodness, them crazy. There's a lot of things we have learned. And I always, only the other day, we were talking about you, that from what I know of, you are the one, the center of attraction of every single thing going on in Buxton. Because I had a video way back then when y'all did when they were for that boy in Buxton Middle one day. And it was you on the cars that you came out and did what you had to do. Come on. A lot of people, a lot of us, we just sit back and we are afraid. And I have to go back to say what Melly Mel said. She said that you have to speak up, you have to talk. You don't have to give out your sources, but you can speak up and say when people are doing wrong things to you. But long time, I just come on your show and I talk about one of our head police officers there and what they were doing. And look now, his name is all over the whole world. The people are saying, oh my God, this is exactly what my sister and her husband went through with him. Exactly. Come, go bring the $10,000 and give us, we want this, we want that. Huh? And you're trying to deny it? Come on, if they turn up, they're going to see the newspaper, who published those newspaper, and see what the case was. And then they get children. Little children you picking up the street for come and go to court and testify, and you know that's a lie. Then you got license plate, 2 license plates, one flip up and one flip down. After the accident, they flipped down the other license plate, and the car came from Linden. The people care, what them just take and use. This has been going on with them for years now. And we as Guyanese, we always have a thing, oh God, let them go and do what they got to do. They'll come out there in 4 years' time. Hell no, you got to speak up. They have to go to jail, let them go to jail. If it's my brother said, my sister said, let them go. Because you know wrong and you know right. Once you grow up in a culture, you know wrong and you know right, you have to say. You cannot be locked out. That's the reason why they bite off the mother ears. Tell him, encourage him to steal. And what he said, Mama, you didn't tell me this. Bite off the glass today and spit it out. Kadaki, you have a blessed day.
Thank you, Gala.
Keep it going.
Thank you. 62593 is the number to call. You tune to the Guyanese morning time. I ain't put up the cash app. Come here, I'll send something now. Every morning I gotta tell you I'll send something. Well, last year I'll send something to the cash app. Call your life.
Good morning, Kadaki.
Morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Yes. Our Coffee said something earlier. I wonder what Rickford Burke has to say about this. You know, Black Americans will tell you that they don't believe in, a lot of them will tell you they don't believe in Al Sharpton. When Jesse Jackson was around, he too, because these people believe that they're the HNIC for their community, but they're not around the community when the help is really needed. When education is affecting them, when crime is affecting them, they're not there, right? And we Guyanese have a thing of putting people on pedestals because they wear suits and tie and shout from the top of the mountain. If, and I'm going to say this, if Rickford Burke was that bad of a man, when Irfan Ali was in New York parading around Brooklyn, which is, you know, for those who know Brooklyn, you could get the Irfan Ali area and confront him. If he was there, I don't care if Rickford was in church. I would have said, God, or whoever I pray to, look, I need some time off, but I'm going here with you, with the strength of you, to confront this oppressor. He didn't turn up. Neither did he mobilize anybody. And again, it go back to what you're saying is about community, what you're doing on the ground. He did nothing on the ground here when the man was there to confront the man in Brooklyn. And I don't know why people always are just, you know, putting these guys on up on top of the mountain because they shout loud. I want to see who fighting on the ground. Revolution is on the ground. You, one. Dr. Hines is another one. Sharrod is another one. What's his name from Linden is another one. London is another one. Those are real people who are fighting on the ground. By the time something happens, they out there. So we gotta stop giving people these titles and expectation because we're gonna be disappointed. That's all I have to say.
Thank you for your say. All I want to say is you almost know when to fight. I keep saying that. I must know when to fight. Rickford is doing good enough. Rickford is doing what Rickford can do. Allow Rickford to do what Rickford can do. You do your part, I do my part. We all will get there somehow. Right? That's all I'm saying. Let me tell you about what's on the screen. The Buxton Friendship Business and Cultural Expo. The Buxton Friendship Business and Cultural Expo will now take place on the 25th of August. Yes, that's Sunday, 25th of August at the Buxton Middle Walk. It's about 1, 2, 3 church next time. Oh, 2 buildings off the public road. Buxton Middle Walk, 2 buildings, 2 lots. Let me be specific. 2 lots of the Buxton Public Road. That is directly opposite Tipperary Hall, to be exact. Yes, I'm grateful to the owners of that plot of land here, the Benjamin's Bakery. That is what you call corporate responsibility. That is what business people in communities have to do. God. So with the kindness of Mr. Benjamin or the Benjamin family, we are now going to be hosting the Business and Cultural Expo at what I'm calling loosely the Benjamin's Lawn, right? Opposite Tipperary. It's a nice, big, well-prepared spot. So I'm encouraging you to come down on the 25th of August to the Business and Cultural Expo. Now, business is straightforward for some people, but it's intricate for me. If you're producing anything, you're welcome to come on display. Call the number 6827981, 6827981, WhatsApp or call for more information on the Business and the Cultural Expo as to how you can acquire a booth, what it will cost you to acquire a booth, and what are the benefits of acquiring a booth. Good. So do that. Encourage any small business people to do that. But that's number 1. Number 2, if you have a talent, some people have talents and they don't, they have not been given the opportunity, let's say, to market that talent. come down to the Buxton Business and Cultural Expo and get the opportunity to market the talent, right? Artists, performers, and so on, you don't have to pay to be part of the cultural exposition. We are going to have a center stage there. Center stage is going to start operating, I think, about 7 in the evening. So you come down and you put yourself on show. In fact, we are paying to put you on show, right? We are paying you to put yourself, well, we are paying to put you on show, in that we are preparing all the things you need to showcase yourself. So if you think you're a good dub poet, center stage is there for you. If you think you are a good storyteller, center stage is there for you. You're a good comedian, center stage is there for you. And the good thing is that you are going to be live, because we're going to go live with the day's proceedings, and especially center stage in the evening, so that people can see what talent is on display. So if you know someone that has a talent and you believe that they have not been marketed, they're not well known enough, encourage them to call the number 6827981 and get registered for center stage at the Buxton Business and Cultural Expo on the 25th of August. But importantly, please spread the word. This Buxton Friendship Business and Cultural Expo is going to take place on the 25th of August, Middle Walk Road, opposite Tipperary. Right? Please spread the word. Call your life.
Yeah, bless good morning to you, Mr. Kadaki, and the rest of the Guyanese nation. Those who are in and out to the diaspora, bless good morning to you. I want to call for our callers, our viewers. Be very careful, as you make your step and you make your opinion and your suggestion. Be very careful as the clock continues to tick. Because when God made us the human body, He gave fingers, toes, arms, eyes, ears, everybody, all the body got its parts. And they are used for different purpose at different time. But they all work to one goal, to one achievement, is to make the human better and to make the human remain in what God ordained the human to be in. And why I'm saying this is because we need to be careful. It may not say that's what you're doing, but we need to be careful how we're going to find ourselves in a boasting or a bragging, but any humanity in general, totality. And we need to focus upon the fruits, which mean the characters, the behavior, not one time, two times, but continuously. We all know the PPP government will try to buy people no matter what you do, no matter how close the election, no matter where they aim, because they don't want to come to power. However, what we have to do is keep reminding ourselves and each other what is important is not to forget the motive of the PPP government and the fruit that they are producing and the evil that they are using about it with no thanks, no mercy, and no grace behind it. That's what we Guyanese got to be careful for. And don't ever forget what we are doing. As for my beautiful girl in Maka, she deserves every ounce. She achieved every ounce. We all know that. Anyhow, we're not going to go down that direction. We are all together. Let us work for one common goal. And let us throw each punch that we could throw against the PPP government. Because of what God bless you, Mr. Kalaki. God bless this nation. We're going to get there by the grace of God. Have a blessed day. God bless your program.
Thank you for your call. At 4 minutes to the 9 o'clock hour, I'm not sure what Marlene is asking about. Do you have a separate poster? What for, Marlene? Sometimes we have to get some clarity. I'm not sure what you're talking about. But let's play some voice notes. Please, no more calls, voice notes now.
Hi, good morning, Mr. Amsterdam, and good morning to all the viewers, and happy emancipation to all right-minded Black Guyanese. Mr. Amsterdam, I was very disappointed with those people in Hope Town. I can't believe they welcomed this wicked man so like if he's a god. I was so shocked. I said, what's the matter with Black people? something wrong with us? How could they open of all the village, a dominant black society? They see what this government is doing to black people, and you going to welcome showering like if he's a god, he's a king for black people. Oh my God, I don't know what more to say. Until we wake up, we're going to always be the bottom of the ladder. We need to, black people need to wake up. We need to wake up. I don't know what's the matter with us. I think we like to much our hands out. This man should have no place in Uptown. They should have run you out of Uptown. Call look we doing your black teachers, look we doing your black nurse, look we doing your black policemen, the soldiers. Look what he's doing. He refusing to give them a salary, a proper decent salary. Got them there pushing drugs just to make hands rich. Using them as the sacrificial lamb. Using them as the hitman. Oh my God. Mr. Amsterdam, I don't know. I don't know when we're going to wake up. I don't know when we're going to wake up.
Don't give up.
Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam and the listening public. I want to go deeper than that. I want to go with the fact that some persons seem to have forgotten what happened in 2020 on social media. When black people or Afro-Guyanese were described as hungry belly, dogs, dunces, etc., I would never forget that. And I think that some of my people have forgotten that. Because if you look at it, every time this government start to reach out to anyone, they reach out with food. Food. If it's not a cooked meal, so people feel special, and so it messes with their psyche on the real truth, it's hampers. And I know some people will knock me and they will say that, but people have needs. But that is what the members of the sitting government, supporters of the sitting government do. They always start with food. And our people react to that and see it as something nice, when for me it's an insult. I will never forget 2020. I have never felt so much hate.
Oh boy, sorry about that, caller. I think I go back it. I'm not frightened. It's right here. Where is it?
As what was emanating from the things being said on social media. And I do agree with you, Kadaki. I do agree with you. Our local politicians, most of them doing the same thing that the sitting government is doing. They are out there for photo ops. That's what they do. Ask them about any one or two persons in their communities. They have no idea. They're never on the ground. But yet they want people to come out and support them when they have particular interests. It doesn't work that way. And for those MPs, because now I go in there, right? Those MPs who think they're spiting the opposition leader by isolating themselves, you have all forgotten that is the people's money that is paying you for representation. And therefore, if you cannot communicate with even the persons in your community, and even when you cannot represent them, you are a failure. You are nothing but a failure and a disgrace to our people. That's what you are. So yes, Kadaki, I agree with you with that. And any person who listens to the program regularly would know I'm always saying that there are members of parliament who are lazy and they should not be in parliament because all they do is look for photo ops to try to convince people that they're working, but they really aren't working. So I agree with you with that. I don't want to get started this morning. For the longest while, I've been very quiet and I've been observing and I'm fuming. So I will leave this alone. But I just have to say that.
Thank you for saying. Hold not thy speech.
Good morning, Kadaki. Hey, Kadaki. This morning I heard someone calling on your program and ask you to visit their community so that you can highlight what's going on in their community, and at the same time, you said on your program that if there is anyone else outside there who would like you to visit their community, make contact with you. I know that I like that, Kadaki, and I'm going to send a contribution towards that because I know when you have to go, you got to put gas in your vehicle. So that's my contribution towards the program this morning. Thank you.
You are most welcome. And thank you for your commitment. It's 4 minutes past 9 o'clock. It's time for this BUXTONIAN to go about other business. It was nice to have you here. Remember, the number is 6225933 if you care to. If you want to have us visit your community, call me. We'll set it up. We will set it up. I will set it up. And when I call on certain people to come with me and they refuse, I will let you know that they ain't got the interest at all because they said they ain't coming. How about that? Sometimes they just got beat people with a big stick and beat sense into the head, as old people say. Yeah, beat sense into the head. Because if they ain't doing what they're supposed to do, then you, the people, have to make them do what they're supposed to do. Power to the people. Final call. Call it live. This one ain't up or nothing. Y'all have a good day. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Much love. Those of you who looked at the live last night, those of you who the live stream last night from the Tipperary Hall, I would welcome your feedback. How good or bad it was, what can be improved, what was good, what was not good, and where we need to do additional work to get it right. Okay, like I told you last week, I expended some money to get me a special piece of equipment for that live streaming there. I am happy with the output so far, but like I said, you're on the other end, and so you'll be able to point me in directions that I've not been able to see or might not have paid keen attention to. So if you view the live stream of the UC Guyana Annual Symposium, you can send me some feedback. What are your thoughts? What needs to be improved? And so on and so forth. I welcome that feedback because after all, we're striving for excellence. And we must always strive for excellence. Black excellence is a wonderful thing. Have a good day. Goodbye. Much love. I love y'all. Maybe tomorrow I'm going to delve into that Hope Tongue fiasco. That's what I call it. Because not only does Hope Tongue have fiascos, a lot of our other African communities have fiasco. Right? We got people who claim that they lead flock. They're leading the flocks. But they're all leading the flocks astray. They're leading the flocks straight into the PPP scam. We can talk about that. Have a good one. Have a good one. Maybe I'll go across to your fan to lunch today. State House. Maybe I'll go see if they're making any dal, saltfish. Don't order duck, man. I mean, I like duck. These days, man, I even like chicken. Saltfish good enough because Paro said all saltfish sweet. Y'all have a good day for the second time. Bye bye. Love you.